Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bantamweight Boxing Podcast. Pound for pound, the best boxing podcast around. I'm your host, Michael Whyte, and joined with me in person is Johan, none other.
Pound for pound.
Pound for pound. Yeah, soon to fight Dillian Whyte.
Oh, yeah.
Johan.
For real.
And yeah. Right, we're going to be cutting each other off quite a lot this episode, but we'll try to do our best. And then the other two brothers we have are Joe and Jim. Do you want to say hello?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
Good to be back, lads.
Yeah, we're back. And today we're talking about Dillian Whyte. We've got a bit of a weird thing for him. Every podcast, we love to come back to him, but he has been in the headlines for kind of good, but maybe bad news. But we're gonna get into that. So the Whyte Wallin fight has been called off. We actually had tickets to that fight, and we're pretty gutted about it. We're really excited for that. Thought it was going to be a good one, but yeah, it's been called off. Whyte has claimed he's got a shoulder injury and doesn't want to fight Wallin. The show is going on, but Wallin isn't going to be involved in it, and obviously Whyte isn't as well. So we're going to get into this. We're going to talk a little bit about Whyte. What has he been up to? Is he playing the boxing game? Is it all genuine?
Is he playing the wanker game?
Wanker game.
That's the question.
Don't fucking interrupt. Don't fucking interrupt. I knew this would fucking happen. He's trying to kick me off as the host, mate. He's trying to...
My fucking knee. Well, you'll get what's coming to Dillian Whyte. You'll get that too.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to our call-outs at the end. I've got a few as well. But let's get into some questions and let's talk about this fight. So I'm going to Johan.
Yeah.
It's a bit weird because I'm going to look at you right now. Johan,
look into my eyes.
Tell me
you love me.
Did Whyte fake this injury?
I can't even talk about it, Mike. I find it. Take a deep breath. I drove all the way to London from my lovely rural retreat away from this shithole. I've come as far as South London to see Dillian Whyte, body snatcher, my favorite fighter, and he's done me over. And not even driven down here, just me. All of my children packed into the car. They wanted half term, but I wanted fight night. So fuck their half term. I'm driving down for this, and he's just I can't even speak. I'm handing it over to you. I just can't even speak.
What are we saying, guys? Are we saying surely Whyte's faked this injury? Surely no one wants to say it. No one wants to say it, but Joe, you go.
I fucking will. 1,000,000%. Yeah. I don't blame him either. He's been so hard done by.
But you're not in South London.
So yeah, he's saying this from the safety of Manchester. We're down the road. We're down the road. Yeah, I might bump into Dillian, mate, on the fucking 109.
Yeah, but we are doing this podcast from the back of the 109 right
now. Yeah, so it does seem like he has faked it. But as you said, Joe, you're not, you don't blame him too much. He's been so hard done by in the past.
It's not that, but are we surprised? Are we coming to the conclusion that boxing is corrupt? Is that what we finally come to the conclusion of? Because, I mean, I just don't blame him. It's not the morally right thing to do, but how else is he going to get shots? He's not going to get it through fighting challenges because he's done that.
Just for some context, before we get into diving into it, for people who might not know, so the WBC ruled that after something like 30 days after the Usyk AJ fight, if the winner of that doesn't get a fight lined up for Fury has to fight his the silver champion or whatever it is. The they've got a silver belt, haven't they? The silver
like Pokemon.
Yeah, literally. And obviously that fight was never going to be made between Fury and the winner of Usyk AJ because there was a rematch clause in the AJ Usyk fight. So it does seem that if Whyte retains his number one WBC spot, whatever you want to call it, he will be in line to fight Tyson Fury. So it does seem that Whyte's playing the game a little bit, sitting tight and waiting for Fury to get the call up. Jim, what do you make of this? Do you think more should be done in boxing to legitimize this? Do we need to see X-rays? Does Wallin need, some kind of compensation or, should he be guaranteed the fight?
Yeah, I definitely think there's got to be an independent body that oversees this and verifies the injury. I think what is difficult is when it's so close. I think no one can begrudge someone.
When you say close, like some poor motherfucker has driven all the way to South London.
I feel for the fighters on the undercard. That's who I feel for, the people that actually need the money. That's
they
their
are still
big
going
payday.
ahead, but as you say, they're not going to get the big. Yeah, they're not going to make anywhere near as much.
And that's their exposure. That's their way to build their profile, and they've got a big headliner like Dillian Whyte. So for them, that's really going to impact them. So I do feel for those boxers on the undercard who'd really have benefited from that exposure, that big headline act. But yeah, absolutely they need to change the way things are. Bloody annoying.
Joe, if you were a promoter, from a promoter's kind of perspective, would you say this is really the smartest move Dillian Whyte has probably made in his career, dodging in terms of, the AJ model or whatever, the Eddie Hearn model? Would you say this is kind of one of the smartest moves Whyte's made, rather than going for the Rivas's, the difficult fights, Povetkin getting hurt, potentially losing?
But it won't be.
That's exactly it. A lot of his fights are sort of high risk, low reward, and he's wearing down. He's getting old now, and he's got to have that shot at the title. So I think it is the perfect strategic move, definitely.
Would people say, do you think he'll lose any credibility? Do you know what I mean? Like, he's been known as the man of the people. I'll fight anyone.
Yeah.
Do you think
he wants to fight the best though?
He should have fought with an injured shoulder.
Yeah, he should have done. David Haye fought with a dodgy toe, mate. Fought with a very dodgy toe.
We're losing any credibility in this fucking podcast. Yeah, he fought with that mangled. What was it? Is against Bellew. What happened to his leg? Looked like his leg. Remember his leg looked like spaghetti bolognese. Like the inside was like brutal.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. Well, it seems then that we're going to be talking about Whyte versus Tyson Fury. That seems like it's going to be the next fight, isn't it? And although we're gutted personally because we fucking missed out on a wicked fight night, and now I've got to spend it indoors with this fucking loser. Bloody hell, I've got to make new plans now. We are going to potentially see Fury Whyte, which is a bad boy fight, isn't it? It is, what do you make of that, Jim? Are you excited for that fight?
Oh yeah, no, that's a humdinger. That is a humdinger. The build up alone. Forget the actual fight. Just can you imagine the press conferences, the weigh-ins with those two? It's going to be pure box office, absolute box office stuff. Can't wait.
I think Whyte is the only person that's demonstrated that he can handle that type of interaction with Fury, and in fact, probably the only person that might even be able to hurt Fury with what he can say about him. He's made some comments in the past that were pretty cutting, and the responses they got from Tyson Fury did make me think, oh, do you know what? That there's some, not only is it going to be very, very entertaining for us, but that actually Fury will lose the edge that he has with other fighters where he just dominates them psychologically before the fight, dominates them. He's not going to do that with Whyte.
Yeah, Whyte's got thick skin, hasn't he?
Very.
If you can put up with Chisora telling you he's going to go through you like a laxative, you can. There's no words on this earth that can harm you. If you can look a man in the eyes after he's told you he's going to fucking go through you like a laxative. But I think you're right, and I think we also saw in the Wilder Fury press conferences, Fury getting really riled up. I thought he got really riled up quite easily.
I told you, I said a little prayer after that last press conference. I was worried for him.
Yeah.
Prayed for his soul.
And I think
came through, I think, as a result.
Yeah.
I might pray for Whyte's shoulder, to be honest with you. I should pray for it more.
Yeah. He didn't pray hard enough. But I think Whyte will have that kind of, he's going to have the chat. He's going to have the chat to get under Fury's skin a little bit. They both will. They both will. And as we say, we're going to lap it up as entertainment before they even get into the ring. But what are people thinking for predictions? I know we're jumping the gun slightly because we're going all the way to that. But it's either going to be, they're saying, Joe Joyce versus Fury, which I don't really want to see, or Whyte versus Fury.
Why don't you want to see that fight?
I don't want to see Joe Joyce because I just think Joe Joyce is made for Tyson Fury. Do you know what I mean? He's very slow.
But it's interesting, Mike, because Fury was really bigging up Joyce because I think he fancies that fight. He was saying he's the most dangerous heavyweight in the division. Yeah. And I think you're absolutely spot on. It's because he is the sort of fighter that will make Tyson Fury look good. He's a great fighter.
He's a great fighter. And as we say all the time, styles make fights. And there's certain fighters, you know, maybe like a Wilder where Joyce is all wrong for Wilder. Do you know what I mean? Because he's got the stamina, he's got the chin, he'll keep coming at you. But the boxing, the technical ability is just not quite there. And I think Fury would dance rings around him. I really think would make him look a bit silly.
He's too slow. He's far too slow.
Too slow.
He'd be a couple of steps ahead the whole fight.
So, you know, considering Yoan prays to the boxing god, don't touch me.
Oh, fucking
you're doing a shit job, man.
Considering Yoan prays to the boxing gods and they listen to him, and we get the Whyte fight, get on your knees, yeah. I shouldn't pause. Sorry.
Oh, that
how
do sinister turn, man.
How does that fight go?
Very
how
does
that fight go, Joe? What do you think happens in that fight?
Joe's
froze. I'll go to Jim. I'm sure he's going to clock back in.
Dillian Whyte's got to the first of us.
Jim, you go.
That's the first one down.
Joe, can you hear us? Are you with us?
Yeah, I'm there.
Fury Whyte, Joe. How do you see that going?
Fucking speak up, Joe.
He's definitely not there. Jim, we're going to have to go to you. Joe, I'm sure Joe's going to come back
I think Whyte gives him problems, but...
Oh. All right. We're all over. Oh, he's lagging in and out. Yeah, and we're going to have to go to you. Sorry, Jim.
Go, Jim.
Jim.
I think Fury, for me, I think it's a really close fight. It can go either way, but my money would definitely be on Tyson Fury.
Yeah. How do you see that ending? Do you think points win?
No, I think that one goes the distance in my book. Look, I think they've both got the power to knock each other out, but I think Whyte knows what he's up against, and he knows he can't go into that fight pretending it's a street fight. He's got to be smart, he's got to be savvy, he's got to try and land the big punches. But I just think Tyson Fury, you look at the way Tyson Fury dealt with someone like Chisora, who's a similar sort of fighter, big power puncher. I just think he's got the boxing ability to keep him at range and win the fight on points.
Yeah. Yeah, and what were you thinking for that? Joe's come back. But yeah, and you go.
I agree completely with what Jimmy is saying. I just hope that because of what's happened to me this week, that Tyson Fury really hurts him to boot.
Yeah,
I hope he does that thing he did with his gloves in that other fight. What is it? Like, he done that thing so he could hurt Wilder even more. Bum cream, did you say, Joe? I think you turn your camera off again.
He dips his hands in diesel.
That's it. Whatever he needs to do.
Yeah.
But I think the build-up's going to be fun. I think the fight's going to be fun.
Yeah.
And I think that Whyte brings that element of. I think Jimmy's right that it's a Fury win, but I think that Dillian Whyte brings enough danger. To make enough boxing skill to make it very competitive.
I think it will have the excitement of the Wilder trilogy. I think I'm more excited for Fury Whyte than I am Fury Usyk, because I think Fury Usyk is a chess match, whereas I think Fury Whyte is that's going to be pure entertainment. Pure entertainment. Whyte is not stupid. He knows he'll never outbox Tyson Fury. So he will be fucking going for him and trying to land that knockout. I think you just get pure entertainment as a result of that.
And I think Whyte will be quite confident in that. I don't think he'll think that Fury can knock him out. I don't think he'll be scared. I don't think he'll be scared of what this whole Sugar Hill. I don't think he'll be scared of that at all. I think he'll know the only way Fury's beating me is on points. And so I think he could probably be a bit more, okay to take a few shots, to land a few shots, if you see what I'm saying.
Gronk Jim, baby.
Gronk Jim. Yeah, because there's been a lot made of that. And me personally, I don't think Fury really hits any harder than he's ever done. I actually don't believe that the Kronk Gym has changed something miraculously about making being a harder hitter. I think he's a lot more aggressive and fights more on the front foot, but I don't think. I think he must hit a little harder because obviously he's weighing more, but I don't. Yeah. I think for most of the elite fight, well, for most of the fight, I don't think they fear it.
I think that Sugar Hill is such a charming, charismatic guy that it's easy to get carried away with the impact that he's had on Tyson Fury. And I'll be the first one to say, I'm really entertained by Sugar Hill, the way he presents himself. And he's obviously a world-class coach, but I think there's an element of what you're saying is right. Recently, they had video footage showing about his uncle and what he was saying in Lennox Lewis's corner and comparing it to him. And essentially what they both were saying were, fucking hit him. So it's not like
they were making it out like they were saying like these like special counters or special combos which were gonna like win the fight. Slip the right hand. All they were saying is use your fucking jab, use your jab. It was like, it wasn't, but take nothing away from it. I think we're entertained because you just don't get that with trainers. It's very rare now to come across the old school Teddy Atlas trainers of just heart on the line,
working his magic in the corner, talking about the dead father and all of that.
That was brilliant. And he was doing like a whole speech, literally like a whole 5-minute speech.
Is Joseph actually like some form of AI? Like I'm looking at him, it looks like a Blade Runner or something. Like you're not even, I might give you one of them tests, like a Blade Runner to check that you ain't.
He's a hologram.
You're actually human.
I'm here, mate.
That's what we needed to hear. So, Joe,
come back than Fury.
What did you say?
So there's better comeback than Fury.
100. Let's get your predictions, Joe. Whyte Fury. What goes down for you? We've all said. Well, I'd probably agree with what these two said as well. I think Fury wins it probably on points.
Before Joe answers, we agreed last week that we would stop agreeing with one another. So you need to fucking disagree.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Going on.
Right, Whyte does it with a body shot. Then I think
Whyte
does give him some problems because he's got quite a good tank, Whyte, and he can take a punch. So it's going to take a lot to get him out of there.
Yeah.
But, again, I think Fury just finds a way. But it's a very good fight. Very, very tasty fight. And the build-up. I'm sure you've all said this. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. If it does happen, fingers crossed.
I just hate the fact that, like, I think Jim's right in about that when you compare it to the potential Usyk fight, but that frustrates me because I think, well, actually, Jim, don't say that because when it's all about two world champions, the best fight and the best, as Wilder used to say, and that annoys me that we think that
Wilder's saying best fight the best.
And Wilder's a very intelligent man.
No one. Literally fought no one.
Jimmy, what did you send me that was like FIFA?
Oh yeah.
I
can't even remember it, the Wilder clip.
And he calls it, he's like
Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Tyson Fury. He's brilliant. I miss that kind of that persona of his.
But you need people like that. I do love Wilder, Fury, and Whyte, and that's I love AJ, but for different reasons. But he doesn't bring that entertainment value that Whyte, Fury, and even Wilder bring. And there's just the outlandish, the crazy shit that you can't get away with saying in normal society. But they get away with it. They just talk.
The very reasons why you like AJ.
Your big head is.
I can't help having a big head.
His head is fucking massive.
You only can see now in comparison.
Yoan, there's not enough space for your head and Mike's ego, mate. I'm sorry.
Look at that forehead.
Listen,
cook bacon and eggs on that forehead.
Yoan's going to need therapy after this
AJ, the reasons why you like AJ is why I can never really like AJ, and it's got nothing to do with his boxing. That kind of like looking at yourself in the mirror.
AJ's who you are at work. That fucking loser. That too good. Always says what everyone wants to hear.
That's why I don't like
you.
Him.
Get told what to do, like AJ does with Eddie Hearn.
I won't disagree. I'm fine with that. When you've got an enormous head like mine, You can't fuck around. You have to do that.
I don't know where we've gone with this, but the last thing I end on, I was reading an article about Tyson Fury earlier today, actually, and it's taking a completely different angle on this whole Whyte situation. And Joe, what do you make of this? Could Fury just bin off the WBC belt? Fuck it off and just fuck it off. Don't do the mandatory and just go and fight Usyk, the winner of Usyk AJ.
Mate, if you want what I actually think, I think Fury's next fight will probably be in the WWE or something like that.
True.
Knowing Fury. I don't think he's that hungry. I don't think he particularly cares about having all the belts. He's taken the piss out of AJ for saying that before.
When you've got a mortgage,
I think he wants the Joyce fight.
When you've got a mortgage on a house in Morecambe, you just got to make that money, mate. You just got to make that money, right?
That means fuck all. So anyone listening to this doesn't know what Morecambe is.
If they don't know,
I'm thinking they doesn't know what a mortgage is. I'm like, what are you talking about our fucking listeners?
If you don't know where Morecambe is, where the Gypsy King lives. What's wrong with you? What you watching? And what you watching a podcast about boxing for?
Wow.
Drop the mic.
Okay. Drop the mic. Fair enough. I've just dissed his hometown.
Exactly.
Sorry.
But
what do you? So Joe, do you think Fury is going to go for one of the big? Oh, I think he's muted himself. But Jim, do you think Fury is going to go for?
Fucking hell!
The Matrix.
I tell you what, a blow-up fucking Dole would be a better fucking Yo on this fucking podcast.
I think Yo's got some of those as well. To be fair, but, to end it, Jim, do you think Fury will go? Do you think it's a possibility Fury will just go a bit AWOL and then maybe look for the big fight against the winner of Usyk AJ?
I think, Fury is unpredictable. And I think Joe's spot on when he says his next fight could be in the WWE. He might never fight. It wouldn't surprise me if Fury never fought.
Yeah, it's been that talk.
Really would. I don't think of all the heavyweights, he's probably got the least to prove. You know, obviously he's got the carrot of being unified again. But I think obviously would love to see him fight at least a couple more fights and definitely get that Usyk fight. But yeah, I don't hold out a huge amount of hope for that actually coming to fruition. I think he is in the luxurious position now where everyone knows he's numero uno. And when you're in that position, you do get to pick your fights. I
thought that was you. Who do you mean?
Yeah, he's the Canelo equivalent of the heavyweight division now after that demolition of Wilder. So it could be Joyce the next fight. He might just cherry pick it. Yeah. I hope he doesn't, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to wait and see. And if we do see, obviously, the Whyte Fury fight, we're going to be over the moon, and we'll definitely talk a lot more in depth about that. But I think we've kind of covered a few things about Whyte, the whole injury, the potential fight with Fury. And I think it's a nice place to actually really round it up. So thank you, everyone, for listening. Please like and subscribe and drop a comment. Let us know. Would Whyte do Fury? Would Fury do Whyte? It'd be interesting to know your guys' thoughts on all of it. But if we could get a sign out from you guys, go from the oldest down to the youngest.
Yes.
And say goodbye. Thank them for listening.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening.
Mike, what should I say? Thanks, everyone.
If we ever get these outros done, I swear to fucking God. Joe, just say, Joe, don't do anything.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah, fuck it up.
Take care.
All right. See you later.